Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to Propaganda with Mick and Jacob. Yesterday, we're recording this on March 29th, so yesterday, Saturday, March 28th, we had another No Kings protest. Very important for our country to recognize these protests. And they're calling it the largest single-day demonstration in U.S. history of protests ever. I don't know what that means. That's what all the articles, that's the article that I grabbed. It's the largest single-day demonstration in U.S. history of protesting, of going against the king we have in office today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What are the No Kings protests? If you don't know, it's a series of protests against the second term of the Trump administration. These protesters believe that Trump is a tyrannical king, and they are marching to protect their human rights, our human rights. Because
what makes him a king?
They might lose their human rights. Well, let's get into it, Jacob, shall we? I did a little sleuthing on their website.
Oh, boy.
It's so bad. It's so bad. So this is kind of like their, I guess you could say their mission statement. In June, it states, so June, they had one back in June 2025. They had, I think, 2. And now this one that just happened over the weekend is their 3rd one. So it's like a whole series. They're not giving up. In June, we did what many claimed was impossible, peacefully mobilize millions of people to take to the streets and declare with one voice, America has no kings. And it mattered. The world saw the power of the people. President Trump's birthday parade was drowned out by protests in every state across the globe. In every state across the globe.
In every state and across the globe.
Across the globe? They're doing this across the globe?
That's what they're saying.
Okay. His attempt to turn June 14th into a coronation collapsed, and the story became the strength of a movement rising against his authoritarian power grabs. It goes on.
Okay.
You thought that was bad? I got to a section saying the work continues, and it states, America has a long history rooted in white supremacy of suppressing the rights of people of color. What does that have to do with Trump being a king? I don't know. I guess he's suppressing people of color. How? Doesn't state. It goes on. But our history, America's history, also clearly shows that people-powered movements are how we end authoritarianism.
Hold on one moment here.
No.
Trump got more votes from people of color than any other Republican president in recent American history. So let's not forget that. But yeah, sure, he's like undermining their rights and whatever. But just remember that, right? Record number of blacks, Hispanics, okay? People of color, right?
But he's suppressing them, Jacob.
Right.
And it goes on. It says that throughout 2025, millions of us joined together in our communities and held the largest single day of morally grounded, nonviolent, direct actions by any movement of U.S. history. That's not true. They are violent. Just this weekend, protesters in LA were throwing bricks of cement towards the LAPD. The LAPD, the cops that are trying to keep the protest safe and trying to control the crowd. And they're throwing bricks at them.
Wait, I thought they just threw bricks at ICE. They throw them at police too?
Yeah. Everybody.
Nothing's changed. So they're so peaceful and nonviolent, but it's actually the same protest as 2020. Maybe not quite as bad, but we're still throwing bricks at police.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, don't worry, it's nonviolent.
So that kind of gives you an idea of what these protests are, what they're about, who they are, what they stand for. That's just a small taste. Just a small taste. These protests in LA also had upside down American flags. They had Mexican flags. The guy that threw the brick at the cops had a Mexican flag. Okay, so that right there just tells you everything you need to know. That this sums up these people. They're not there for the love of law. They're not there for rights, for order. They're not there for the love of their country and wanting to see it do better. They're causing the chaos. They're causing the issues. They're angry, brainwashed, mentally unstable individuals that need purpose and are trying to find purpose in these protests because they have nothing better to do.
Okay, it makes sense why they're violent, though. So we've been told for years that Trump is a Hitler-esque figure, right? He's a dictator. He's authoritarian. He's the king, apparently. Well, then, as an American citizen, even if you're waving the Mexican flag, as an American citizen, you have a right and an obligation to protect our democracy, our constitution, our laws, right? Our way of life. So it actually makes, it does make sense why these people are violent. If they genuinely believe that, which I don't think all of them do. I think it's a very small amount that actually believe it. I think a lot of them are brainwashed.
They wouldn't stay here, though.
Right. Or they would be fighting harder to take it back.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes sense why you're violent. You have to throw out this dictatorship. You have to take over the country. You have to fix what was wronged, you know? You have to rebuild from our constitution and our rights as the people. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously not true. None of that's actually happening.
But like, pause. What do them marching? What does them actually marching do? Like maybe I'm just like ignorant on this. I don't know. I don't understand protesting. They're not. We are aware. We were aware the first 2 times they did it back in June in 2025.
It's no kings.
Why does it need to have happened a third time? You know?
No kings, obviously.
Right. Right.
I don't know.
I just don't get, like, what's the next step here? Like, okay, that's awesome. You guys are marching. But if there's actually a dictator, there's actually like a tyrannical king in power, then what do you do next?
Okay, if we're supposedly a democratically elected government of by and for the people, then the majority of people voted for Trump. So the majority of people can be wrong. It's not the majority of people aren't always right, but the majority of people voted for him. That in and of itself is democratic, right? Is it not? I don't know. He's not a king either. He's actually a pretty lame excuse for a president recently. So it's funny because the left is like upset that he's this terrible person and the right is upset that he's not doing anything.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's upset, but but he's definitely not a king. He's definitely not authoritarian.
No.
He's definitely not overreaching his presidential powers. He's not doing anything actually. So, but yeah, no kings.
If he was Hitler, these people would not be able to protest. They wouldn't be able to continue their protesting. They wouldn't have this website up to get the word out. Like, that's what's so funny to me is that they think they're in this, they're oppressed and they don't know what to do and he's taking away their human rights but you're able to protest against it. That's real oppression when you're not able to speak out.
They're like using PTO from work and then like getting paid on the side to go to these protests and they're like filming on their phones and like grilling out on the streets, you know? They're like, this is oppression. This is authoritarian. Yeah. It's not. It's all fake. It's all made up. That's why I don't believe most of them actually think that.
The very act
I
of
just
them
don't believe it.
protesting and getting to use their First Amendment shows that there is no king. And it's the stupidest thing because they always use well, America has never wanted kings. We were built on the fact that we ran away from that and now we're back to it. No, that's not even close. And I think you're right. I think they do know that, but also I posted a video the other day on our TikTok saying that, being like, well, you're able to march and protest, then is he really a king? Is he really a tyrant? And they were like, no, protesting is making sure we don't get to that point.
Right. We're really worried Trump is going to be a king.
You're doing great, guys. Keep going. Anyway, so that's not even the main thing that I want to talk to you about. All the headlines are reading that this No Kings protest on March 28th, it was such a success. They claim that there were more than 8 million people that came out for it. 3,000 locations across the US. It's across all the states. There's 3,000 locations and some are saying more than 8 million at this point. I don't know if that's true, but let's just assume it is, okay? So if you take that number...
8 million's a high number. I don't know about that.
I know, that's what I thought too.
Where are they getting these numbers from?
That's what I thought too. I'm like, is there some database? Is someone there with a clicker, like counting? I don't know how they like estimate that.
Yeah.
So that's definitely not accurate. But let's just take him for their word, okay? People are saying 8 million.
Sorry. All right. All right. It's 8 million. Fine. All right, continue.
So if we take their other statistic, 3,000 locations across the US.
That's a lot of locations.
That's a lot of locations, and I don't know if I believe that either. But We take 8 million. Let's just say we spread it out across each location evenly and distribute that number evenly. That's 2,600 per location.
Okay.
Okay, and that's not true. I mean,
right. Some is a couple hundred. Then there's LA,
yes,
hundreds
right,
of thousands.
right.
Yeah.
New York had a huge one. DC had a huge one. St. Paul, Minnesota they estimated 100,000. Like, I'm not saying there was only 2,600 at each protest. Okay, do not get that twisted. I'm just saying the number 8 million gets really small really fast.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at the population of the United States. We're at what? 342 million about-ish, right?
Legal.
I know, right?
Known.
That number's even bigger. You know it is.
Right.
But 8 million of 342 million is 2%. 2% of people care enough about the dictator king we have in office to show up for it and protest against it.
And
2%.
This was a Saturday. This wasn't like, you know how normally they all get off of work on like a Tuesday afternoon to go walk down the streets or whatever? Like, this was a Saturday. Everyone's off. Everyone that this is important enough to be there could make it. 3,000 locations, there's one near you. You know there is, right? Just go to the nearest city. And the funny part is where are all the people, right? 2%, okay, you got 2%, whatever. Supposedly, the country's 50-50, right? Allegedly, Kamala Harris barely lost. Trump barely won, right? That's 50, 51, 49, 48, 52, whatever you want to say, right? But only 2% of the US population actually cares enough to show up. If this is a big deal, if we don't want kings, if this is a dictatorship, we need way more than 2% of people to show up.
You're telling me
that's not enough to overthrow a tyrannical government, right?
I'm hearing the next Hitler is in power, but only 2% of us actually care?
Yeah.
So, and that's where it's irritating too, because they take these headlines and they're like, over 8 million showed up. It's crazy. Blah, blah, blah. This movement, it is rolling. We are growing.
There's a picture outside the White House with like the lawn flooded, and it's like 8 million people showed up. And you're like, what? That's not. It's 8 million people total.
But 8 million
3,000 locations across the entire U.S.
Right. Very small number in the pool of people that we have in this country. So that right there is the definition of propaganda. A spokesperson of the White House, Abigail Jackson, she commented on this. Trump has not commented on it yet, but I mean, we're recording this on Sunday. It happened yesterday. So I'm sure we'll hear something this week. I'm sure by the time you're listening to this, he would have spoken on it. Right now, he has not. But a spokesperson of the White House said, quote, Trump derangement therapy sessions. This is just a Trump derangement therapy session. And it's so accurate. It's so true. You might be upset with Trump if you're a conservative or Republican for not delivering on the promises that he ran on. But to sit here and call him a tyrannical king and we need him out of office before we lose our rights, that is derangement. That is. You are like the scum of the barrel. You don't have any critical thinking skills whatsoever. If you think our president is this king and his aim is to take away your rights, that he cares whether or not you kiss a boy or a girl.
What rights is he taking away? Who's he taking them away from?
Women's rights, gay rights, lots of rights.
Lots of rights. All right.
People of color, apparently he hates.
Okay.
And this website, I mean, it offers no proof. It makes so many claims about Trump and so many claims that America is rooted in racism and they have to fight against it. And there's no proof of it. They just make these claims. But that's enough for people. They're like, all right, let's go. Let's get our signs.
So the No Kings protest, the No Kings movement, they actually have an annual budget of $3 billion that they're allowed to spend and use and see fit how they can use it. There's the article I read said 500 groups that are like, part of it, supporting it, donating it, organizing all that stuff, funding it, right? But they have a $3 billion budget. It's a lot of money.
From what?
Per year. From donors, from organizations, from
wow,
people getting out there on foot, spreading the word. I don't know.
This is about to
How
be,
do you make that money?
This is about to be the
question.
next BLM thing.
It's about to be the next BLM scam. It's about to be the next Somali daycare running center.
The owner has this giant mansion, and all of their siblings have these nice cars.
Right. I don't know. That's crazy. That's a high number. But that makes sense how they get these organized protests. That makes sense how there's people on the ground setting up events, doing all these things. Allegedly, people are getting paid $200 to be there. I don't know if that's true.
I was just going to say that.
$200 to be there. Sounds like a good deal to me. I would go, honestly. So,
Yeah.
and then you have, I mean, like you see this, right? But a lot of protests you see, everyone shows up and everyone has the same sign. There's mass printed signs. There's lots of similar signs. Like people just make these overnight. I don't know. Some of them are like manufactured, like printed, labeled signs. And it's like, right, there's funding behind them, obviously. So, which fine. You want to support a movement and fund it and whatever. It's just crazy to me that they can have that high of a budget, that people are that, whatever, wound up in it or care that much to give to it. I don't know.
$3 billion to march to stick it to Trump.
Yeah.
To spread awareness that he's a king.
Talk about a waste of money. Yeah.
Wow. And these are the same people, keep in mind, that would claim we need to fix homelessness in America. We need to help the poor. We need to make sure that the people of color have food.
The disenfranchised people of color. Yeah.
They would complain about SNAP. They would complain about EBT and all of these poor immigrant people crossing the border that need help. Take that $3 billion and help them then.
Hey, $200 for a family, might help a little bit with groceries. Might help with some gas recently,
Go to these ghetto neighborhoods that you seem to care about, that you claim so much to care about. These people of color that are just, they have nothing. Right. You need to help them. What?
Well, it came out. It's the same thing with the BLM movement. It came out that all that money they got was just being funneled and used and wasted. Yep. And the lady who started BLM, it was just going to her and her family and her friends and some organization she liked. It wasn't going back into the community. It wasn't helping George Floyd's neighbors. Like, it wasn't going to downtown Minneapolis. That's not how that works. Everyone and their mother gives to it, right? Post the black square. Like, here's the QR code, whatever. Everyone gives to it. But it doesn't actually help those people. And if they care that much about making a movement, which I know the No Kings movement isn't about helping like black people or people of color or whatever, but they're saying that the reason they're against it is because Trump is hurting them. Well, if you want to do something to help them, maybe give them some money, maybe give them some better education or equipment or whatever you want to do to invest in like the disenfranchised, low-income communities, whatever.
Right.
But they're not. It's not, because it's not what it's actually about.
No, they're not going to make any change. They're going to take that money and they're going to make a sign and they're going to go walk in the street. And like I said, these people, they don't have purpose, and that gives them purpose, that they can be out there and they can virtue signal and say, look what I did over the weekend.
Yeah.
They don't actually care to make any change, or else they would take that money and they would put it towards way more important things. So don't let the headlines fool you into thinking that the majority of our country wants Trump out of office because he's a king, because he's taking away their rights and he's a tyrant. Don't let them fool you. It's 2% of the country that actually show up and care about this. What I care about right now is the fact that Jeffrey Epstein might be alive.
Jeffrey Epstein or his clone doppelganger friend, Palm Beach Pete, who was recently spotted, like it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, he was seen in a convertible, and this person's recording him, and he looks, there's no way to make this up, he looks exactly like Epstein. And if you've been on social media at all, you've seen it. But there's this guy, apparently he's like a local known guy, it's just my nickname, but he's known as Palm Beach Pete. And he's blowing up because he looks exactly like Epstein. And some people are like, no, he doesn't. What do you mean? He doesn't talk like him. And then you look at his mouth and his face structure and the way he talks and his teeth. And it all looks
on his face
the exact same. It's crazy. We should put up like a comparison between them. But recently, he's been going more viral, right? He's like made accounts. He's now built like a little bit like of a following. And the stuff I've seen says that his accounts like on Instagram and stuff were actually created in March. So that's a little weird. He gets spotted a couple weeks ago. His accounts get made now. And now he's leaning into this Palm Beach Pete persona. Okay, yeah. And also Palm Beach, Florida, by the way. Like that's where we're at here. Like,
is that where Epstein had a house?
People say that he did have a house in Palm Beach as well.
I thought I heard that too.
But his mansion was like, in those islands. But but he had a house there as well. People like slow down in comparison, like they show a comparison between like how both people say Palm Beach, and it's like the exact same how Epstein says it and Palm Beach Pete says it.
I saw one video of him getting pulled over. He's in his convertible, and this lady rolls down her window, and she's like, "Palm Beach Pete, is that you?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's me." And his next question out of his mouth is, "How old are you?"
You can't make it up.
And she's like, I don't know what she says. She's like, she's older, right?
Yeah.
She's not like 19. And she says her age. Let's just say it's like 30, you know?
She's like 40 something.
He speeds away. He's like, all right. He has no interest.
She's like, Palm Beach Pete, is that you? He's like, yeah, how old are you? She says her age. She's like, yeah, I'm 40 something. And then he just like, the clip just ends with him driving away. Can't be near that.
That's Epstein.
Right.
Confirmed.
Okay. Here's the real takeaway. Is it Epstein? Is it not? I don't know.
The weird part though is that they just had him on
Jimmy
Kimmel's show.
Jimmy Kimmel just interviewed Palm Beach Pete.
A late night TV show.
We're getting past the point of parody. It's like,
right.
Okay. The reason I talk about this or want to bring this up is it Epstein? I don't really know. It could be Epstein, okay? Let's pretend it is. Let's pretend it's not, actually. Let's pretend it's not Epstein. It's a guy that looks like him. At the very least, he's being pushed out for a reason. I'm not saying it's some grand conspiracy here, right? But I feel like it is in an effort to desensitize the conversation, to make it so normal and like obscene and like, oh, like, that guy looks like Epstein, you know? Like, forget about the files, right? Remember the files came out? Whatever. We all forgot about that.
Yeah, no protest.
Remember how
for
we
that.
were going to hold those people accountable? Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing. Which we should hold those people accountable. But it's crazy that like they're almost pushing it. And it's like, okay, if Epstein was this monster, terrible man, he deserved to die. He's trafficking little girls or whatever. Like, if he's this bad, why is like his celebrity look like this is so funny and harmless and like innocent? Like, this is so funny. Whatever. Palm Beach P, you know, the grandpa down the street in South Florida. Like, why are we pushing this and like celebrating it? I don't know. For Jimmy Kimmel to have him on is crazy.
That was my final straw, because I'm like, are we really that pressed for content right now?
Right.
I don't think so. This isn't also the age of Ellen, where back in 2012 when social media was new and cool, and someone would, I don't know, do a cool trick with a yo-yo and they would get on the Ellen show. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that used to get on late night TV shows.
Yeah, this does not.
This does not.
It was like a grainy hotel room interview, and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm Palm Beach P."
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
it's
Oh my
like
gosh.
not real. I don't know. What's the point?
And what's your point?
What's the point of it?
What are the questions? Like, what are you gonna? So you look like that child rapist.
They literally like say, "You look like Epstein." He's like, "Yeah, I get that a lot."
Like, what? What then? Wow,
Yeah.
you look at that guy that was arrested for sex trafficking kids. What
Well,
then?
like
What then?
sex trafficking them by himself to no one though. But yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. You look like this monster of a man. Let's have you on our TV show.
No, because if the person's as terrible as you think,
Right.
then no, you're not gonna make light of the situation and have him on, and you know,
That's
like,
why it feels so wrong. It's like making a joke out of a really dark
Right.
situation and a really ugly situation
Right.
that should be serious, and we shouldn't be making a joke out of it.
yeah.
Like even
No. Sorry to interrupt, but like, I'm not saying you can't make jokes about things. That's not at all what I believe or what I think. But I'm saying it's weird that they're pushing this and it's like desensitized. Like, it feels like it's purposely
it does.
trying to be desensitized for a reason. So I don't know.
I think the memes go a little too far too.
Yeah.
Like some of them are like, okay, you know, fine, it's a little funny, I guess. But now that's all he is. Now he is a meme.
Right.
You know, he's put on this pedestal next
It's
to
not
Charlie
even Jeffrey
Kirk.
Epstein. It's like Palm Beach Pete, and then they're using like the Jeffrey Epstein memes.
Yes.
You know, it's weird. It's
Like
weird.
he's put in these memes with George Floyd, Charlie Kirk, and like they're trying to make him seem like this normal dude, and he's not.
Yeah.
And I mean, I fall for it too, because now now Epstein isn't this scary, horrible person and a monster that we need to make sure these people that were in his circle
The problem
aren't
is both
in power.
ways, though.
But now he's just a meme. What do you mean?
The problem is both ways. Our generation, we laugh at everything. Everything's
That's
funny.
true.
It's a joke, which
That is
I
true.
do agree with as well. It is.
No, I'm
But
guilty of it
it's
too.
like-
Yeah.
Why do we find it funny? Not because like the stuff he did or like things like that, you know? We find it I think, funny a lot of the times because nothing's being done. It's not being taken seriously. None of those people in the files are going to be in jail. None of them are going to be tried before court. None of those names that are blacked out are getting released. We're only getting half the story. They said there's like 6 million files and we're only getting 3 million of them. Like, we're not even seeing the full picture. Like, it's a joke. It's not. Trump ran on releasing the files and then did everything he possibly could to not release them. And let's not just pretend Trump, but Biden and Obama and everyone before them, they also knew about Epstein, had access to some of these files, especially after his suicide. There was a lot more content to work with there as well. A lot more things that they could release or talk about or bring up to the eye of the public. But it's not treated as a serious matter. So like that's why I think people also joke around with it. So,
yeah, I know.
like, no one's going to be held responsible. None of those names we'll ever see that are actually like damaging to them, you know? And that's why I think people make a light of the situation. It's crazy to me. Not that young Gen Z are making jokes on TikTok and Instagram. That's whatever. I get that. What's crazy to me is that Jimmy Kimmel is interviewing Palm Beach Pete.
Right.
And it's like, oh, you look like Epstein, you know? That's awesome.
What do you say to that?
I don't know. Like,
what do you even like? How do you go from there in an interview?
Right. So I'm not saying it's Epstein. I'm not saying it's not. But I don't know. You should ask why you're seeing things, I guess, is what I would say.
Yeah. It's always good, like you said, to ask yourself, okay, is 8 million really that big of a number in the pool of people we have? Why am I seeing Palm Beach Pete on Jimmy Kimmel? It's always good to just ask questions so you don't end up like the libtards protesting no kings.
Yeah. Ask questions before you go to protests.
Please. Thanks for listening to another episode of Propaganda. As always, we appreciate the listen. And if you could follow all of our other video content on our socials, we're on TikTok at Mick and Jacob. We're on YouTube at Propaganda MJ. We're also on X at Propaganda MJ and Instagram at Mick and Jacob. Give us a follow and a like to see all of our video content. Have a good rest of your week, and we will talk to you on Friday.